Good evening, November Foxtrot. Welcome
I'm not even sure
to the show.
I'm not even going to try and pronounce that.
I think we are slightly early.
Yeah, early, Wayne. We'll get moaned at for that now as well.
Good evening from M1 South. Oh, lovely, John. The M1. What a fucking road that is.
Good evening,
How far are you, John? Pop in,
Kenny.
say hello. Oh, Junction 8, you can be on the live show.
Yeah, swing around, bud. Swing around.
Hi, Drew, Kenny Rebel, the Punished One, Andy
Hello.
Luckett, Matthew McCarthy, of course, I'm Drew Back, Marking Mark, Les Plane, welcome on.
I forgot to
We're
do
obviously tonight joined by Ed as well. Ed,
Hello.
aka Silly Ghillie. Andy's just gone. We're going to be talking about
Joined by
sniping
royalty.
within MilSim.
Cameras.
Great. We're going to be talking about sniping and sort of DMRs within MilSim. So we've asked Ed to join us because he's a lovely guy anyway, and then he also knows a little bit about sniping and ghillie craft.
He does.
Just a bit.
Only a bit.
Diplomatic though.
Yeah.
He's not bad. He's not bad.
How are you all?
Tired. Blurry.
Tired and blurry. My mind is wrong.
Yeah.
I feel quite tired actually as it goes, but other than that, I'm all good. I've done some purchases, which I'll come on to in a bit. But you, Ed, you all right, mate?
Yeah, I'm actually caffeined up for this because I've had a long day. So yeah.
I've had many coffees today.
I'm actually a bit sort of hyped, I guess would be the right word.
You see him running around in a minute. Just in the background.
Just full on hummingbird.
Yeah.
Let's roll into the news.
I take my gun and I go pew 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 pew.
News. So, should we? I wanted to sort of talk about the debrief of Red Tide 3, which we'll cover sort of more towards the end of the news. Any other little bits and pieces that you want to throw in first? I know that Lance, you've got some exciting news.
Lance has been.
I've got a little bit of news, which I can share a little bit of information on, and it's I suppose this is a little riddle, but what I will do is I'm going to show this little picture of on my phone to the screen, so you can see that. There we go. Oh, there we go.
Oh, look at that.
That's better. So all I'm going to say is, all you snipers out there, keep your eyes open for the month of June and find yourself a really trusting sniper buddy, and try and keep some weekends free, because something's coming on the horizon.
that was very
Can't
deep
say much
you
more
all
than
of a
that,
sudden.
but yeah, it's pretty exciting. So yeah,
So is
just
there something? Does Empire specialise in sniping then?
well, I've heard loosely.
Loosely.
So there could be something. Yeah, there
He
could
talks
be
about it a lot.
An Empire events thing happening, starting in June, for all you snipers out there, and sniper pairs in particular. So yeah, that's all I'm saying for now.
I will
And
be
he's gone
back.
again.
I'll be back.
Okay. That was my little bit of news. Yes,
You had some purchases as well, Lance, I believe.
I did. I can't show them because they're actually on the end of the go. I bought a couple of suppressors from Empire. I bought a new sling for my AK, and I did buy a new shortback Bergen cover from on eBay. It's the Dutch Army Woodland DPM, pretty much the same, but I think it's better quality than the British Army one. And I'm going to be using this for my Storm Shield for my bivvy bag mod. So that arrived today, which I'm excited about. Sorry if it's a bit noisy getting out of the packaging, but yeah.
Is that the bivvy bag?
Mate, I mean, it's great podcast material.
So yeah, for all you out there, it's an elasticated waterproof bag cover, which I'm going to be using for the hood of my bivvy bag when I do it. Oh. Yes. That's my purchases. Oh, and a water bowl. New 58 pattern water bowl turned up yesterday, so I lost one.
£58 water bottle.
58 pattern. Pattern 58 water bowl.
I mean, if you want to spend.
Well, I mentioned that in my latest video actually. The fact that you could, the green 58 pattern ones were about 65-70 quid, and I was just like, no, I'm not spending that on a water bottle. I will spray my ones green. That's what I will do. So that's what I did. Does the partner have to run a sniper rifle? I'll have to clarify that, Kenny. I would have thought so, mate. I would have thought so.
This is my new gift.
Ooh. Bit blue, little bit blue, like that.
Oh, hang on.
Well, they goggles.
Why's it not working? Bastard thing.
Is that the new demonetization present that you're getting?
Yeah, screw 'em.
I like how you think we get money for this.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're now sponsored by Pocket Tits. In case
There you
anyone's
go.
wondering.
I think
They're
I think
juggling
it's quite clear what they are, Andy. I don't think you need to keep worrying about the focus.
need to
I think
zoom
you've got
in.
the grasp.
We need zoom.
We got to zoom in on Alex's tits that she gave me. That came out so wrong.
Yeah, that's bad.
I don't think there was a way it could have come out right.
No.
but
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh my god, they're literally squidgy as well.
Have you not opened them yet? Then I thought you would have given them a good feel at Red Tide.
That's it.
This is very blue. This is very OnlyFans. This shouldn't be happening here because we've got an audience.
I'm not going to do whatever.
Sorry about this, Ed. I can only apologise.
That's fine.
You,
that's
you
fine.
know, we know what we're
He's
like.
come on for a sensible conversation.
We have got both more mature technically and yet more immature content-wise.
They're more,
Oh, the little holders
Cupcakes.
have got nipple cutouts as well, which is quite.
That's handy.
That is
That's handy.
Ed, please, have you got any news or purchases that you've had this week that's not tit related?
No, please say no, because so we can go back to the tits conversation.
I'm trying to think of something like it's filled
Ed's
up
currently
my whole
crafting
mind.
a bra.
Me and Ed
no
were talking
purchases.
before the show, weren't we?
No purchases.
You lie.
Oh, I do like. I'm buying a new riff. If, I'm not going to say the word, but yeah.
Wibble.
Snipple, snipple wibble.
A sniffle wibble.
Yeah. Well, I haven't bought one for 3 years, and although mine does shoot nicely, I thought I'm bored of it and I want to get a new one. So, yeah. I'm not going to say any more about that because.
It's going to be a video on it.
Is it one of those the Ruger? Is it the CO2 Ruger? The one that's like a little pistol with a stock and an extended barrel. That's
I should get the one from Who Framed Roger Rabbit, the guy with the massively long pistol. That's the barrel's like about 4 foot long on it. It's like a 6-shooter. Ridiculous.
Les has said I'm getting a pair of fireproof gloves, so I don't know if he was there. Was he there?
I think he was there, for the sealskin gloves, yeah.
But they're thermal.
Never gonna.
Thermal. Everyone's missing a trick.
Oh dear. Right. Okay. So probably
We got one more bit of news, didn't we?
Yeah, go for it.
And Ed as well now. The three of us, I think Lance is going as well, are going to be at Shift Your Riffs weekend. So everyone on the screen right now will be there playing. I'm going to try and get us to have a little stall as well. Well, I won't be. I'll be marshalling, but I'm sure I can come out with a gun.
Well, I could put. Yeah. We could all take high vis vests and just marshal if we want to.
Yeah. Well, if Andy can, we can do it, surely.
Yeah, it's not that hard.
Ed's got his.
Ed's got his. Ed's got his.
Beautiful.
Marshall
Look at
Ghillie,
that.
blend into any martial environment.
Absolutely.
In their natural habitat.
They thought they hated marshals already. Wait till
They don't know hatred. Not yet.
I got shot by the marshal. It was ridiculous. They just kept sniping me. I don't understand why.
Still use it for content.
You've no shame.
With some clickbaity title like the Ghillie they never saw coming or something like that.
High vis Ghillie hacks cheater to pieces.
So the kind of the main bit of news I wanted to talk about this week is the kind of debrief of Defiance Red Tide 3. So it was the event that ran this last weekend. That's partly the reason that my voice sounds quite so attractively pubescent.
Honey G.
So I apologise for that. Huh?
Honey G.
Yes,
Honey
and
G.
apparently I looked like Honey G.
We might have to
Turns
have a
out
G.
that-
Yeah, we may have to have a G off between you and between you and Croydon Hammond.
Yeah, so it turns out that
there was a lot
dark
going on.
shades eye pro and a baseball cap do not do me many favors. I didn't go with the red beanie in the end. I just went with the baseball cap, and that was apparently worse. So who knew? That was fun.
It wasn't worse. It was not worse. Trust me.
Lars is busy typing away.
Yeah, subtle.
Okay.
Subtle typing.
So we're going to. So Red Tide 3 was obviously the third in the Red Tide installment from Defiant. It focuses on a police. It's not so much a MilSim in terms of like the traditional sense of force on force or force versus rebels. The event kind of focuses a lot more on the almost like a police sim. You've got sort of DEA factions, police factions, cartels, and this event we obviously had a civilian population as well.
Yep.
Which
Run by
was
Alex.
Run by Alex, and I must say, expertly done.
Yes.
The only criticism I think I could really come up with for the whole civ pop thing, there just weren't enough civ pop. It would have been a lot more helpful to be able to sell drugs to more than 5 or 6 people throughout the event.
How are you getting through this much?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean, at one point it was like I've genuinely got like £1 million bags of products. Do you want to buy them? And they're like, oh, I'm gonna have to go get some more money. It's like, you go do that and then come back and find me and I'll sell you that. That's fine.
Yeah, I think for the next one, I think for the next Red Tide, I am going to leave the pews at home, and I am going to jump on the Civ Pop because I walked around most of the all of Saturday with a wheelie bin, ferrying guns and drugs around in a real smelly bin, saying that it was full of asbestos, so they couldn't search it. I had great
Nicely
fun.
done.
Which on that site, quite probably it could have been.
Yeah.
Because I'm partly blaming my voice here on the fact that I at one point was in a very dusty room with pyro going off in probably lead-lined paint. I don't know if there was any asbestos, but it was very dusty.
Bad.
We'll find out in a few years.
Yeah, you'll be all right, mate.
Exactly. I did the old scratch and sniff test, so it'll be fine. It won't be a problem.
Make sure you only
It didn't smell like asbestos. so
What
that's
of the
fine.
underpants or?
No, the asbestos.
Trying to get people into MilSim.
Oh yeah, Defiance on the chat, obviously. So this isn't anything, by the way, tonight that we haven't already discussed, because big advocates of making sure that if there are any potential sort of thoughts or feedback, you always have to give that on the event. I mean, for me as a whole, just to start off, it was a really good event. I really, really enjoyed it. Whether it was the best Defiant event I've been to, possibly not. However, that being said, I got to play Op4 for the first time, which I've never really properly done. I got to do a lot of very heavy, intense role play, which we'll talk about in a little bit, because I know Andy loved that bit.
I was honestly going to stab you.
And yeah. So, Lance, do you want to lead this bit in terms of asking questions and finding out, just so it's not just Andy and I talking for the whole?
Let's obviously briefly over on. Let's start on obviously arrivals, location of the site, and that, and obviously your admin bits, getting yourself set up, and sort of like the bit of the lay of the land. Let's start with that. What was your feelings on the location and that?
Well, I turned up a little bit late because I was waiting for one of my guns.
As usual.
Yeah. And
at least you was at the beginning of the event this time. Not
yeah, it was, wasn't it? Yeah, right at the end. I did. As soon as I turned up, I went up and found James, and I said, "Look, I'm here."
Hello.
I've
Has
arrived.
it finished yet?
Yeah. I personally thought there wasn't a lot of admin on this one. I basically threw my stuff into the sleeping area that we had, and Mike said there's a map on the wall, and that was it. That was kind of as much admin as I received. I think Mike may have received a little bit more, but that was my admin side of thing when I arrived.
Fair play, Mike.
Yeah, so it was a HQ Airsoft in Driffield up by York. Very, very long drive for us Southerners. Pretty certain I got several nosebleeds because of the change in elevation as I moved.
Did you take a language book with you?
I did take a language book. I had several translators and a Sherpa at one point, so I made sure I sort of dealt with that. I mean, from an admin point of view, I would say that Defiant is one of those events where you kind of sign up to the event and there's it seems like 1,000,001 WhatsApp groups, which can be very helpful from the perspective of finding out what's going on if you have the time to read them all. But if not, then there's a few sort of groups that you could probably pay more attention to than others. I mean, the sales group's quite helpful if you obviously want to buy stuff, and then there's sort of individual team WhatsApp groups which I think were more helpful than the Defiant community chat, which is very kind of meme heavy. Like, that's more there for the community as a whole rather than necessarily for that event. So yeah, don't get thinking that you have to pay attention to all the groups, because I know that's the case with a lot of events companies. Gunman and sort of the Octo series of events, you sign up to that and there seems to be multiple event chats and things going on, and sometimes that can be quite confusing for players. If you're not sort of geared up for knowing what you're looking for, you can run the risk of losing information and turning up sort of a bit ill-informed. We were obviously there as a DS as well for the event, so we had a DS briefing before the event, so we actually knew the whole kind of event as a whole prior to attending. But I would say probably still yet to be beaten is Legion, the way that they ran their events in terms of sort of the pre-briefing packs that you used to get for sort of task for events, especially, where it sort of all came out as like a solid document that you kind of got sent and your RAWbat and everything. I did really like how Defiant put it on a Google Drive, so it's quite easy to find at all times. Yeah, which is quite handy, and especially during the event. And James says we were late for the DS brief, and that's partly.
You weren't
one of
just
the things...
late for the DS brief, mate. You were fucking late for the DS brief.
I was very late. However, I looked through all the documents and messages that we had, and I couldn't actually find anywhere that I was told that there was a DS brief at that time. So that was a little unhelpful. But as a whole, I mean, I sort of sound like I'm being critical. But the event as a whole, I personally didn't feel too in the dark in terms of going into it. I think the only thing that was a little bit up in the air for me was that I'd never done Op4, never really done heavy role play like that, and it was a brand new style of event. I've never had to go to an event where we were actually selling product to people and kind of that.
I enjoyed that side of it. I really did enjoy that.
Yeah. So that was definitely really cool and interesting to see how that kind of played out. But at the same time, I think because it was new, and it's like Airsoft and MilSim. If you've never done a MilSim before as a task force, you're going to go into it a little bit apprehensive, and you don't really know 100% what you're doing. People start shouting at you. You've got to perform stag. I don't know what that is.
I remember our first event at Legion for at Longmoor. I'm absolutely bricking it, because it was like the first time we'd stepped from doing like a little matey weekendy sort of thing over in the woods at different sites to then go into an actual British training ground with like a bigger company. You know what I mean? That's been out there for a long time. What's up? What have I done? So that's them bits sort of taken care of.
Sorry, just quickly, there was a question from Drew that came in. So I'm a noob to all this. So no warning order and no tasking orders issued pre-deployment. So it was made clear, I believe, to the players in terms of it's going to be a role play based event. You're going to be, effectively selling drugs, fighting off the 60th Street. So I personally think the tasking was actually quite clear on that front. However, what I would say is when we got to the event, it was very clear that a lot of players there didn't seem to grasp that, with many kind of turning up almost wanting to just blap straight away, which I think caused a bit of a problem.
I think there was a few players on every faction that had a bit of... Actually, I don't think the DEA was. Definitely 60th and definitely El Hatcher. There was a handful of people that I think misread the scenario or what Defiant were trying to achieve for the weekend. Right. So there was a bit of gung-ho blattiness, which did kind of upset things a little bit. I could tell that at certain points Kev and James were getting extremely stressed with situations that were happening out of their control and that weren't following. And it did take a lot of work from their normal DSs to try and get things back up into place. And I got to admit the DSs that I ran with at certain times really looked after me and Mike and told us, like, no, you don't want to do this. As a DS, you want to kind of do this way. So that was a massive eye opener for me. So I learned a lot from doing that with seasoned DSs as well.
That's cool. Fair play. So so start like pre-op briefings and things like that. Then, so did you all have to sort of muster somewhere for a main sort of brief with James and Kev, and then obviously was it boots out on the ground after that? What was the sort of setup there for the morning kickoff?
So the morning kickoff, we did it outside, which I thought could have been done better. Sorry, Kev, if you're listening, but I thought we should have done that inside because people were still moving their vehicles about. And we had 60th Street players walking through the middle of, like, behind the brief and stuff while Kev was trying to explain what our taskings and stuff were for that day. That was just my personal opinion, but it was a very good one as always. Gave us enough information for us to get on with the taskings at the beginning. Yeah, that would be my only criticism, but yeah, we ended up getting all the drugs out on the land and stuff like that, which is what we wanted. So yeah, that'd be mine.
Fair play. Mike, anything to add to that, mate?
I think for me, I being indoors or outdoors, it wasn't really a major issue. I think, ultimately there is always a little bit of chaos at the start as people are still, some people arrive late, some people aren't necessarily geared up and got admin and that squared away. So there's potentially always scope for the odd person kind of moving their vehicle to where it should be instead of where it was. I think from that point of view, I felt again that knowing the event and what was informed and sort of the taskings kind of spelled out, I felt that we kind of went into the event quite well established. Ryan says, I'd like to add that from Defiant's point of view, they made it very clear on several occasions what the event was like. With the heavy role play, it was the players who either didn't read or listen or just ignored what they said and wanted to pew. Rolling into that worked quite well. We obviously, from that point, the event obviously kicked off. We kind of started off with our section moving around, kind of getting to know the site a little bit more because it was a Fibua site, which obviously we'd not been to before. So if you imagine Longmoor, it's kind of a very Longmoor-esque style site.
Camp Sparta, isn't it? Camp Sparta, but a little bit more derelict.
Lots of kind of old residential buildings and a massive bar area and the like, which was quite cool.
There was a bar?
There was a big bar. It was very derelict, but there was a big bar.
And it was full of drugs and money by the end of the weekend.
Yes, it was very full of drugs and money.
Can't be bad.
So from that point, Andy and I kind of worked together to move the team in terms of kind of undertaking the tasking, starting to kind of establish ourselves on the ground. We effectively kind of took over the projects up to the north, which was an area of the site which was kind of renowned for more drug use than other. And there were some cool little set pieces. There was a drug den that was established that the police were rocking up to, and we made general arses of ourselves to the DEA and the police initially. They knew we were there. There were several vehicles that the DEA would pull up in their vehicles. I think they had like 8 or 9 vehicles. We'd they go off and do their raids, and then we'd be opening all the doors, putting all the seats back inside the car. There was the bonnet up, the boot was open. So they came back, and it was almost like if you imagine your car's on blocks without the wheels on. It was almost like the police were coming back to their vehicle looking like that, which was quite amusing. I know that there was at one point an issue where I think someone had moved a smoke grenade out of someone's personal kit and put it in the footwell of the car. We dealt with that. We're obviously not intending to touch personal kit, and I think it was just people being a bit overzealous, so that got kind of shut down straight away.
100%, yeah.
But yeah, it was quite nice. We turned all the sirens and the speakers on in the car because they all had the lights and the police sirens and stuff. So it was quite funny to watch the DEA come running back and be like, "Oh, who's done what to my car?" So that was cool.
Fair play.
Yeah. I think the you know, to summarise it generally, because I know we could probably spend all evening talking about it. Personally, I really liked the event. I thought it was really cool. At one point, we got arrested. We spent 2 hours in the police cell, and I really hammed up the role play. I started a one-man prison gang because Andy wouldn't join.
I was trying to fall asleep. I was genuinely trying to fall asleep. Oh, it looks like Austin. Are you all right there, mate? Are you having a bit of a moment?
Just dot. You know, we got to really engage with the Civ Pop. Sarah gave us some maple buns, and I think they ended up with quite a lot of drugs by the end of the weekend as well. Sort of stashed away with cash.
I did not get a single maple bun.
Oh, I've got a stack of them. I'll chuck you.
They're
Oh,
delicious.
you took them home.
Even I've got one.
Did you?
Yeah, I've put them in the NoFo box.
Don't worry, Andy. I'll bring you a couple of my own personal
Sarah, they were
selection
lovely.
this
They
weekend.
were lovely.
I'll whack them out at NAU. I'll bring them to Shift Your Riffs. There you go.
Right.
Ed can partake then as well.
Someone in trouble. Austin.
Austin, I'm going to give you one more go rate, and then I'm going to have to put you in timeout.
Do you need some sugar?
Austin
Or some
gone
caffeine or
bye-bye.
something? Austin, you all right? Is that
At
Ed?
one point I
Is
got
Ed
half
just
naked.
sitting there going,
That was
I'm
entertaining.
not sleeping yet. I'm just...
So yeah, I thought the event was really good from that perspective. You know, it was really good role play. I think the thing that let it down the most, I think for me, there weren't enough Civ Pop, which wasn't Defiant's fault. I think they just didn't have a lot of people booking on. I think with that sort of event, it would have worked more with a lot more people kind of milling about being civilians. It's very hard if you've got effectively, I think it's like 80 players trying to sell drugs to 6 people. That's obviously quite a challenge. Yeah, Defiant got a maple bun. I chucked James one.
I was literally sleeping next to him. I didn't get him.
He didn't know about that bit, but I managed to sneak into his.
I was
quarters.
underneath.
It's all right. I've put Austin in timeout for 5 minutes.
Austin has gone bye-bye.
So yeah, it was a good event. You know, it for me was probably on the end of the Airsoft MilSim spectrum where it's not quite so shooty. So you know, obviously you look at Op Machiavellian, which Defiant did, where you know we didn't really fire a lot of shots at all. To some of the kind of the more battle sim, I guess, type events where you are out on the ground. I mean, or even we did a Falklands one with APOC, which was, you know, you start off and you are fighting that whole weekend.
It's all about the environment you're in. What's required of you for the event, and obviously what the event entails. You know what I mean? Like you say, Machiavellian, I didn't fire a single round all weekend, and it was fantastic. It's probably one of in the top sort of 4 best events I've been to since I started Airsoft. That op was so close. We with Mike were talking the other day about a perfect event, and that was very, very close. If you had to choose one, do you know what I mean? It was very, very close. You know. But and like I said, you know,
was that the one at Dog Tag?
No, Machiavellian was up at Gunman at Tuddenham.
That was Defiant. Was that Defiant?
That was a Defiant event. Yeah, they used the Gunman site, which was it was brilliant. It was so good. And like I said, I didn't fire a BB.
Oh, that was the recent one.
Yes, mate. Yeah. The
yeah.
recent-ish month ago, I suppose, 6 weeks ago.
Their previous one to this.
Yeah. Yes, that was very good.
Yeah. So I think, I mean, ultimately it boils down to the type of event you attend. If it is a MilSim, you can't attend it on the basis of it's going to be a shoot 'em up the whole way through. You know, it was made very obvious even in the safety briefing. You know, James, bless him, stood up right at the front and said, "Look, if you are here for a skirmish, you might as well go home because it is not that sort of event."
Clearly said.
Yet on the Saturday we were having to, as the DS team, across the board, deal with people that are like right up board, fully kitted up and just going out and they're just shooting everyone. You know, I had to go into a few buildings, literally disarm an El Hatcher versus DEA firefight that was going on, which was quite cool in itself. I'm not gonna lie, I felt like a hostage negotiator at that point. I was like shouting at everyone to stop fucking firing at me, which was quite cool. I don't know how many negotiators probably do that, but yeah, I mean it required a little bit of calming down, but I think it kind of got back into the swing of things a little bit. I think ultimately people just didn't really know what. I think ultimately the event was one thing, and people rocked up with a completely different idea of what they were
I
expecting.
think it's because people are so accustomed to skirmishes, and even if you say to them no, it's not like a skirmish. There are rules of engagement. They still go with the.
They're so used to skirmishing.
We're still going to shoot lots of people, right? It's 48 hours. I'm going to get to shoot some people, but it's just a big adjustment, I think. Also, if you're there for 48 hours, you're going to get some shooting in. It's that sort of understand that it's going to be spread out throughout the whole event.
Exactly, this is it. Exactly that, which is what people need to realise. It's not just going to be like, right, okay, it's now started. You can now shoot whoever you want to shoot. It doesn't work like that. You know, there's a storyline behind it. There's things that are going to happen. You know, but it
was like me and Ash, the lad that I was with most of Saturday. I swear to God, we were honestly walking around wearing high-vis orange jumpsuits, pushing a green wheelie bin round. And we had El Hatcher come up to us asking if we wanted to buy drugs. And we had to turn around to them and say, "We are El Hatcher. We're transporting your stuff already. Bugger off." We had DEA constantly trying to get inside the bin, which was a couple of hairy moments because there was one bit where we had 2 bags of coke, 2 M4s, and a load of red pills all in there. And I was like, "You need to open that." No, we don't. It's full of asbestos. And then someone literally on the 60th Street was questioning us about what was in the bin. And we were saying, "Oh, we're here to just clean up the asbestos on the site." And he literally thought we weren't even playing Airsoft. He thought we were genuinely there to clean up asbestos off the site. So me and Ash just wandered around all day, just transporting guns and drugs around. It was hilarious. And I didn't pick up a gun all of Saturday.
No, fair play, mate. And look, it's the way. Sometimes that's just the way it goes, and it turns out to be an absolute wicked crack, and you have a wicked laugh doing it. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I've my brother was obviously in our team, and I've genuinely never seen anyone adapt to selling drugs quite so quickly. He was.
There was no adapting there.
At one point they were talking about cutting. Yeah, at one point they were talking about cutting bags down into smaller quantities because when there wasn't a market for the bigger bag, but there was definitely a market for the smaller bag. So let's just make our own individual. I was like, oh God, don't stop! It was just starting to get
hands up. All those who think the drone company is just a front.
Yeah. I mean, that was another thing. So there was lots of set pieces and stuff, which I know he managed to capture a few of those on the drone.
Oh, did he take his drone with him?
He did. He took his drone with him as well, so that was quite cool.
Awesome.
And yeah, I mean, I think ultimately it was from any other perspective, it was very MilSim-esque on that front. There was occasions where communications were getting very fraught and confused. That was a learning point for me in terms of being sort of running a bit of TL and comms and stuff at the same time. It was challenging because you're getting conflicting information both across the radios on the ground and confusing intel. So, I mean, that's something else. But I think ultimately people maybe just saw it as, oh, well, I'm going as Op 4. Op 4s are kind of just rock up and have a laugh. Yeah. It was good.
Yeah. I think also
I would definitely do it again. Definitely, even knowing now what I know, in terms of how that event would run.
But I think also as well, I think it took you and me, because obviously I was out on the land most of Saturday. When we came back and we started getting into it a little bit, it took a little bit of time for you and me to realise, oh, actually, we're in charge of this section.
Yes.
And there's more people that are also in our section that aren't in this room with us at the moment. So I think from that side of things,
so
that was a personal thing for us, because we've never run as you as team leader and me as second. So that took a few.
Well, we did Red Tide 1, didn't we?
No.
Were you not 2IC on that one? I thought you were.
No, I don't think I was.
Okay.
I might have done, but not done anything.
There was a lot.
I just didn't do anything.
Oh, I was, mate.
Maybe I was,
but I didn't do anything.
No, it's fine. There was a lot of learning going on.
Was.
And there's a lot of things I would take away from that. And I mean, things like we could, for example, open carry pistols. We could have potentially taken knives around with us as an alternative to that. So there's things that we could have played around with.
that's one thing that got me a little bit as well. We were very much on the back foot because they allowed 60th Street and the DEA to have weapons out in public, whereas we weren't allowed to have any weapons out in public, and we weren't allowed to conceal carry either. So if we went out, we were on a massive back foot.
Yeah, but that's due to your citizenship, wasn't it?
Yeah.
If in the storyline you guys are
oh yeah,
to the party.
For me, I know Defiant don't like having a concealed carry rule, but they could have done, well, you can have it on you, but you can't just randomly start just pulling it out of your pocket. They could have given us a bit of an advantage as well, because that was why me and Ash spent most of Saturday just walking around dropping guns off into certain locations for when we were out on the field selling drugs. We actually had some sort of firepower there.
That's probably quite cool to do that, though.
back.
And think, right, okay, we've got a couple stashed over there, we've got a couple stashed here.
Yeah,
and just sort of
there was
no.
map. Yeah, so it was. We had like long rifles and big rifle, and rifles and stuff out on the land. But I still think having maybe a pistol with one mag, tucked away somewhere, would have given.
Yeah,
us
I mean, maybe introduce the thing where you could carry it, but if you were caught with it, then your team would, whether it's like whatever money you'd made or something, you'd lose a large amount of that or something like that. Do you know what I mean?
So you could risk walking around with a pistol out in the open, but if the DEA or police caught you, then you'd be arrested, and you wouldn't be able to carry a weapon again. And I know that happened a couple of times with 60th Street,
right?
Where me and Ash walked around and told one of the policemen that one of the 60th Street lads had drugs on him and he tried selling them to us. And they went there, searched him, and he had drugs and a gun on him, and that he wasn't allowed to carry a gun out in public for the rest of the event. So that worked quite cool. But yeah, I enjoyed it overall. I know some people didn't, unfortunately, but I thought overall it was a good event.
Well, you'll never please everyone at events. That's the thing.
No.
There'll always be someone who'll have a moan up for sometimes, occasionally for valid reasons, but a majority of the time it's for ridiculous reasons. And it normally turns out that it's because they didn't do something correctly, or they didn't put 110% effort into the event. Do you know what I mean? It's normally something that when you get down to the nitty gritty, it's like, oh, maybe I could have done that better and I would have enjoyed it more.
Normally happens at 2 o'clock when sugar levels are running a bit lower as well.
Yeah. Oh, there was no sugar levels running low with bloody Mike in the prison. Jesus Christ. I've never seen... Do you know... I'm going to say this publicly.
Crazy. I'm not going to lie.
He genuinely got naked at one point. He was singing to a mariachi band.
Into water, like...
Yeah.
No, this didn't happen.
Yeah, literally. He was singing.
No, I didn't.
Singing to a mariachi band, and then I turn around and he's got his top off, swinging it, and I'm like, "What is happening right now?" I'm trying to get out of skip.
I really want to just take a second to thank the police force because I put you through 2 hours of fucking hell. They had pepper spray. They used 2 or 3 cans of pepper spray on me. At one point, they shot me because I was being that annoying, and then they had to medic me back in, which was more annoying for them. When I got a little bit undressed, my bandage fell off, so I started bleeding out half undressed on the floor. That was frustrating for them. Honestly, Captain Tom, who was the head of the police force, I apologise to you and your friends and your fellow players. You played an absolutely epic event. And I was a complete arse to you for 2 hours, but I loved every second of it.
He embraced the role play.
Yeah. How does the pepper spray taste?
Oh, it's horrible. Honestly, they use silly string for pepper spray, so basically I just kept getting silly strings every, genuinely every 5-10 minutes. There was a toilet in one of the rooms, so I went and locked myself in the toilet. They had to get me out of there. I found a bottle of like an IV drip or something, so I just practiced like overdosing on that in the police cell. Yeah, I was just a complete pain in the arse.
Yeah. Oh, and then we got given some bacon sandwiches, which were lovely. And then he decided.
But there was no ketchup in it, so I kicked off about that.
Yeah. That's proper shouting. There's no.
What about brown sauce? Any HP?
No sauce at all.
No sauce.
And then they came in to give me special sauce, apparently, and I tried taking the gun off of one of the guards. That caused chaos.
You got us yard
Well, it
time.
was great.
We were allowed
On
to
that-
walk around.
On that bombshell, then, gents, because obviously I'm conscious that we've got.
I'm conscious of the time as well.
To talk about.
Can I just throw a couple questions or comments that's been in? Because I know that obviously you want to get around talking to Ed. Daz says, was it a day and night or just daytime? So it's a full day and night event. Really, really good for that. So you're out on the ground continuously across that time. Drew asks another noob question on this kind of event: is there a similar card alpha issued to players, i.e. the rules of engagement? So we had rules of engagement. There wasn't a specific card, but it was definitely you had certain rules that you had to follow. We, for example, weren't able to shoot the TEA and the police because that was just the remit of the event. And yeah, so you did have sort of a rule set to follow on that front. I think I do just want to also just highlight a comment that Rage made, which was RT3 was never advertised to be a World War III type event. That said, you're always going to get players that just want to scrap. From our point of view, we didn't notice these problems too much. We felt the event delivered what it said it was going to deliver, and I completely agree with that. I personally, again, really enjoyed it. I'd love to go and do another one. The drive was a pain in the arse, but
Worth it.
that's what it is if you go to that site, I guess.
Yeah, I personally thought the drive was worth it.
Yeah.
Like if it was really
Maybe next
shit,
time if we
then I
do get to go, hopefully I get to make the next one if it is up that way or wherever it is. Maybe go out the day before so we get a day of bit of a chill sesh before the Well, I say chill sesh. I mean go out and get absolutely shit faced the night before and then turn up to the event the next day with a stinking hangover. That's what I'm trying to say. But sober.
Aspect, but sober.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, Ed. Hello. How are you?
Hello, Ed.
Hello, Ed.
And thank you for bearing with us.
Yeah.
No, it's good. To be honest, obviously I didn't go to that event, but I have been to a Defiant event before, and I did actually book on to this. I'm going to get shit for this, but I did actually book on for this event, but unfortunately something at work came up and I had to work that weekend. So I think Lance had a similar thing.
Yeah,
but yeah,
both,
the reason I booked
pissed.
on is because the previous event that I went to was really good. Very different to MilSim, MilSims that I've been to. But yeah, I had a really good time. I prefer those Defiant events more for like not just the roleplay, but just the social aspect. Like you're out there with your friends for not just like a lunch break, like at a skirmish. You're there for 2 days, and yeah, that's the fun bit for me. But also, yeah, just the event itself. Like the last Defiant event I went to was at Dog Tag, and yeah, the effort they put into the storyline and the making it different to other events is, if you haven't been to a Defiant event, is really worth going back for.
100%.
So,
Yeah, definitely.
They're good lads. They do put a lot of effort into them. That can't
and
be.
me being like a ghillie sniper and stuff, and I had 2 other snipers there that event. We told them we were turning up, and they had like special taskings for us as well, which was really cool. So some of that was reconnaissance, and then one of our taskings was quite cool, was to take out like an HVT from like a concealed place, so that was quite fun. We didn't get them, but yeah,
we tried. We tried.
No, but it was just nice that they'd like realised we were coming and like made an effort to give us our own tasking, which was really cool. I do prefer. I've been to lots of different MilSim events, and quite a lot of them, the moment you turn up, they sort of immediately look at the ghillies and go, "They're my reconnaissance. They're not doing anything else but reconnaissance this whole event." And yes,
see, I don't mind you saying reconnaissance, Ed. It's when someone else mentions the word recon that's when the trouble starts. But reconnaissance is fine.
Yeah,
we don't mind reconnaissance.
What's
or
wrong
recce.
with recon?
Recce is don't say it, Ed.
Is it American?
Okay, no comment.
Whatever.
It's for our
Don't
1/3
start
of
rage
our
off.
audience, which are American listeners. So big shout out to those in America.
Yeah, and Canada.
Because my geography is terrible sometimes.
Yeah.
Capital of Wales, Belfast. Apparently. Well done, Mike.
I mean, I would just like to point out the reason we got Ed on the show when we booked him in, he was going to be going to Red Tide 3.
I know.
Lance, we knew, wasn't able to make it at that point, so the idea was that Lance was going to kind of host this Q&A panel where all three of us had been. So that's why, if anyone's thinking it's a bit strange that Ed has sort of just sat through 30 minutes of us bimbling on about.
It's almost like Ed's been given community service, isn't it? He's just sat here to
Look
endure
after the
this.
3 children, will you, Ed? while they chat.
Oh, it's fun.
So it was a shame that both of you couldn't make it.
Yeah, both.
But yeah, hopefully we can get to the next one.
What is the next one? What is there one?
Well, in the chat, it looks like it could be a Black Hawk Down scenario type thing, if I remember rightly what I've been reading, which sounds quite interesting.
There is a RT4.
Of course, there is an RT4. There's no rumour. There is one. Don't listen to James.
So
playing
the next one, doing
James is sitting there in his living room going.
They're probably
doing
written up to
James's
about
marketing
6.
for him.
Yeah.
The next one is Machiavellian Bravo on July 14th and the 16th, which is a covert reconnaissance mission, sort of rural woodland. So that's the one that we did where potentially don't fire a shot. So if you're going to go along and want a skirmish day, don't book on that event because you will ruin it for the people that want to go along to that event and don't want to fire a shot. Op Irene, that's a 24-hour scripted event based on the Black Hawk Down situation in 1993. Operation Gothic Serpent, which will be at HQ Driffield. So there you go. Which I
Where's
don't
he getting
think.
the helicopter?
Where's Machiavellian 2 at?
Machiavellian Bravo is
Machiavellian
in
Bravo.
Humber.
Oh, is it Humber?
Humber.
Humber is a great site. Have you guys been to Humber yet?
No.
It's,
I do like saying it, though.
It's a
Humber.
quarry site, so it's very interesting terrain compared to most sites, and very.
Is it
very
closer
open.
to south than it is than the last one?
It's
Yeah.
in
Is
it
it's in
further?
Hull. It's Hull.
Yeah, it's Hull.
Is that even further north than this
I don't
one?
know.
No. It's
I don't
roughly about the same travel time.
But it's Humber's a really, really cool site. Yeah, definitely worth.
Yeah,
They still speak funny, Lance.
Well, I don't even know if they would classify themselves as Northerners. I don't know. But, yeah.
No.
Humbarians.
Humberans. Humberans.
Humberans. We're off to see the Humberans.
Humble people.
I mean, no doubt. I know that Defiant are quite keen for there to be a Red Tide 4. I know that it's sort of already been mooted. Yeah, and I just think that genuinely Defiant's a really good company, and I will put it out there. I'm not paid to say that. I really like their events. So if you're up for a good event, check
You have
out
to
Defiant.
pay
Basically,
to say that because you have to.
yeah, I have to pay them to
Yeah.
say that. So
I like Anthony's. It's hell. No, sorry, it's Hull. No, I think it's.
Mike, didn't you go there once? Was it you and your brother that drove?
oh, we went to Grimsby.
Oh, Grimsby.
Fuck me.
Yeah,
Grimsby.
wow, yeah.
No, don't.
So yeah, that was an AI 500 event in Grimsby at the Pleasure Park theme park that had shut down. So it was meant to be a sort of an abandoned theme park, but they'd taken out most of the rides. The rides that were there, you couldn't run around actually playing Airsoft anyway. So you're kind of just running around the pedestrianised bits. But it was good. It was a good event. But Grimsby's a very strange place.
Yes.
Did you drive through there promptly?
Yeah, if we've got any audience in Grimsby, big shout out to Grimsby and its
go on, the Grimsby.
multitude of parking, because there was all these cars parked everywhere.
I lived in Hull for 2 years. Absolute shithole. Kieran really selling it for us.
No,
Hull is not north. Oh, look, there's some.
Oh.
Can we get a
north for us.
rage? Can we get a rage scream, Mike?
Yeah.
it is North. Hull is. It's North.
Hi,
Adventures of
welcome
Zulu.
for joining.
Oh, good evening,
So
sir.
Ed, in terms of
Ed.
let's kind of hit the crux of this. In terms of sniping or running a DMR at a MilSim, you know, because I believe that you've been to sort of various MilSim events and run both sort of a general rifle setup as well as a sort of a more sniper platform range weapon kind of role. Do you think you get as much out of the event running as a DMR and sniper, or
Yes, I think the milsims definitely lend themselves more to like sneaky play, because they're normally played on a large field. Dog tag is a good example, where you can get into positions where you wouldn't normally get into if you were playing a skirmish, because there's just nobody on the field, and so you can get right behind them and do your thing. So that's, yes, I prefer this snipery role. But then the other thing that I've recently got into, kind of Kenny's fault from Empire, is night games. So with the night game, obviously I don't use a bolt action because of MED issues, but yeah, that's a side that I've never really explored. And having played probably 20 night games without any night vision, I would say that it is fun, both like doing it both ways, just not having night vision and having night vision. But yeah, with an M4 for that, so I bring both to an event. I bring the M4 and the bolt action. So yeah.
Cool.
Did that? I kind of went on the
No,
tangent there.
definitely answered the question. I was just expecting there to be some follow up, but
I'm reading as well as listening. Sorry.
So I can't pronounce that. I apologise. Spooker.
His
Spook
profile
of Alba?
picture is a ghillie.
Spook of Alba. What's the stance on snipers at milsim? Is it frowned upon?
Just looks
for
like a
being
background.
generally ineffective play style.
What's the stance on snipers at milsim? I think it's
no.
I think it's
I guess
absolutely got a play style there for
Yeah,
it.
I guess the stereotype from like an organizer's perspective is that the snipers will go able, and actually the first ever milsims I did with the were the SEO ones, and the first ever ones that I went to, I think the first two that I went to, I played with my brother, and my brother was just getting bored, so we did actually go able. So we do fit that stereotype, but over the years, and having become friends with Lance, I've learned to control my that side. So yeah, what was the question?
Impulsiveness.
Yeah,
sorry. I've just
I wouldn't say it's ineffective, no, because you're in contact with the main squad, so whatever they're doing, you're just there to sort of they call it force multiplier. I never really know what that means. Do you times, how many times do you times the force by to become a multiplier? I don't know.
That's some weird math.
Whenever we've had like an event with a sniper, we've had a dedicated sniper in the section. Like you'd have an 8-man section, but you'd have like one of those would be a DMR or a sniper. I mean, they are a force to be reckoned with. They can hold ground for a considerable amount of time, keeping heads down while you're flanking, things like that. You can easily pair off a sniper and a rifleman to go as a 2 and just pitch them up somewhere while you flank round to the left or right. I mean, yeah, I'd definitely take a sniper.
Yeah, a dirty
in a
combination
section
is a sniper and an LMG sat up next to each other. It's just disgusting. People
Absolute filth.
Yeah.
Oh,
a lot of times it's happened with myself. Someone's come over and said, "Look, you need to kind of just separate a little bit, just to give them a little bit of a chance." It's like, okay.
Yeah, no, there's definitely a place for sniping in the milsim events. I mean,
100%.
I mean, again, that, I suppose that can depend on the event. I'm going to say maybe not so much urban, but then I've seen very effective snipers at like Longmoor and that. You know, you get them little loft buildings and little slip windows and stuff like that, and you just think, where the fuck has that come from? You know, so maybe there is a call for them on all aspects of milsim events, be it urban or rural.
I do think there is, and also the whole thing of milsim is it's a lot more varied than a skirmish. So a skirmish, you blow the whistle, everyone runs and meets each other in the field. Milsim's got so many aspects to it, and the more aspects you bring, the more interesting it becomes. So.
And it opens doorways for different roles and that. You know, say with the more role play that they bring into events, like we were talking about specific roles last week, or specialist roles. What was our weird thing we come up with? I can't remember now. Yeah, like for EODs, specialisms, like the EOD sort of stuff like that. You know, and sort of sniper perhaps may fall into that that category. But events sort of like broadening their horizons and bringing in different elements to events. It opens that doorway then for people to do, oh look, Christ, we can do this, we can do that, rather than it just being force on force sort of thing with not a great deal else going on. It brings all these other elements in. It makes it a much bigger event. I love it.
Just to get a little technical, so a definition of force multiplication or force multiplier is a factor or combination of factors that gives personnel or weapons or other hardware the ability to accomplish greater feats than without it.
That's what
so
I
for example,
Drew.
Yeah.
Yeah, Drew wrote that.
I am that.
I am that.
Oh, was it there as well? Oh, there you go. Yeah,
Drew
sorry, I
wrote
didn't
out.
see that.
Well, Drew. Good on you.
Well done,
been
Drew.
reading
You've
off the
beaten
internet, so-
Wikipedia.
Yeah, there you go. So I mean, for example, Kenny says like a medic. A medic is a force multiplier as well, because if you don't have a medic and you all get shot, then you're all dead. If you've got a medic, you've got the capability of coming back in the game. If you've got an LMG, that's going to change it up, in terms of if everyone's on single shot as opposed to full auto. A sniper, as you say, is someone that can generally, I mean, sniping I think goes hand in hand with ghillies and concealment. So if you've got someone out in the field, that has the ability to hold an area and keep heads down, with a recce or recon roll.
There's no recon roll. They are banned in the UK.
You've got that, which adds like, vehicles are a force multiplier. If you can roll into an area quickly and get out and exfil, for example, then that's going to give you an advantage. So,
talking specifically there about recce, I believe Lance has actually made a big
mess.
I don't know what there must be a proper. There must be like
Don't
a
read into it.
There must be a sort of proper military term for it. I don't know, but it's a sniper hide that's portable. Basically, is what you.
Yes, a hide cover. I think essentially it's called. Yeah.
Yeah. So my plan for this year is to do some MilSims with something like that, and only don't bring the sniper out. Just bring a big camera. So you're the reconnaissance unit, and you are there to take pictures. But you've got one of these hides where they just cannot see you. It's like a proper Prince of Thieves, Robin Hood.
Absolutely. Hold on the ground, pull the sheet over.
Yeah, if you've seen it, you've seen it. So it's basically you're lying flat on the ground with a huge sheet over you. Just they could stand on you and they wouldn't know you were there. So something like that would be, I think, really cool. And also couple that up with a civilian role. So you've got the hide in your back, and you walk as a civilian into an area, and then you disappear out of view, and then set up the hide, and you're just there.
That's cool. You'd have enjoyed Machiavellian, mate. You would have enjoyed that event.
Yeah,
I reckon that would have been a bit of you, definitely.
Is that the one previous to this one?
Yeah, that was just basically the one. Literally, I did not fire around. It was just purely a recce, see and not be seen and things like that. Yeah, it was very cool. Thoroughly enjoyed that.
I think with the camera aspect, that's definitely something I'd like to explore the option to do, because I mean at Machiavellian, if we had the ability that we could set up an OP, I mean Andy and I were talking about sort of setting up like a little remote camera system, and then you could just run a wire back to some sort of visual thing where you don't even have to be sitting in the OP. It's almost like that scene from James Bond. I don't remember, other than up the mountain, the little robot head comes up and just sort of starts panning around, and they're sitting in their nice warm command post or whatever, kind of just panning around and gathering the intel. I mean, I'm not suggesting we need to be sitting in a bunker 300 miles that way, but
travel lodge about a mile down the road.
I'll stay at home.
Yep.
And just
but it would definitely be a cool aspect to have that kind of remote technology.
What I like all this whining about so many WhatsApp groups, but it could actually become quite a funny thing if you had all the WhatsApp groups on your phone and you were taking these pictures and just posting pictures of people's faces from the event in the WhatsApp group as you're there, and they're like, wait, that was 30 seconds ago. That was where is
especially
it?
if you've got like a really high powered focusable scope that you can zoom right in. It's literally like you're right in front of them. They're like sending a message. Where is he?
So one of the questions I had is, for the most part, a lot of skirmish snipers don't generally tend to carry comms. I think that's a fair sort of stereotype and assumption there. I know that you've sort of dived into the realms of comms a little bit, because obviously we've played with you a number of times at events where it's I guess we've almost bullied you into having comms because it helps.
No, I turn
team.
up. I always turn up with comms. The thing with comms is, it's the head.
They never work.
Headset. Well, that as well, but the head setup. So I've actually recently changed my whole head setup to accommodate comms. But the problem with the balaclava and comms is that you've got your iPro over your ears, you've got the little strap that tightens the balaclava over your ears, and you've then got the comms that go somewhere on your ears. So it just becomes so much in this little area above your ear that it becomes a problem. So what I've recently done is taken my iPro and just put an elastic strap that just sits flat against the skin, and then I'm wearing a boonie so that there's nothing on my ear, and then I wear no face mask, not advised, but yeah, no face mask and camo paint, and then I have some it's either in the ear headset or the one that I mostly run is the Code Red headset. So that's like it's not a very fancy one, but it's a bone conductor, so it sits over your ear and sits on that bone there, and that just conducts. It's called a bone conductor because it conducts the sound through your bone, so that there's nothing in your ear, so you can still hear. But yeah, I going to MilSims more and more. Like I've definitely realised comms is pretty essential. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So with that setup, where's your PTT? Do you, because obviously I'm guessing as a sniper, you still have it on your chest?
Yeah.
Surprised with you, Ed. You haven't gone for one of the ones. It's like you can get a secondary PTT that's got a little Velcro back, and you can actually have it on your run it to your finger. And it's almost like a little
cool,
wedding ring,
aren't they?
and you can literally, if you're laying prone, you can still click on and off, which is quite good. I think
a good idea. It is a good idea. Yeah.
Maybe you could incorporate that.
Bluetooth versions of that as well.
Do you know what? I've seen them for the bow fangs, and I've been so tempted to get one just to see what they're like. And it's like a little adapter. You get a Kenwood 2-pin adapter, which is like the Bluetooth main RX-TX, if you like, the transmit and receive into there, and then you just get the single blue. But it's a bit. I mean, the headsets are a bit Alan Partridge. Do you know what I mean? They are a little bit. Aha! You know, selling books and shit.
What do you mean? The sound quality?
No, just the look of it. It's very, very, like.
Does it look like a grandfather's hearing aid?
Little bit.
Yeah. Oh no, sorry.
Little bit.
We're talking about different things. I'm talking about the actual PTT. Like you can get little Bluetooth units that sit on the rifle, so there's no cable. Or
a Bluetooth PTT. Oh, sorry, I thought you meant a Bluetooth head, like earpiece.
No. Sorry. So the rest of it's all wired, but obviously you've got like the button on the rifle itself, so you can move the rifle about, switch hands, etc., etc. But you've got the ability to turn your comms on and off without leaving the rifle.
So I thought you were talking about a Bluetooth one, but it's on your wrist here, so you just press it like that.
I suppose you could run it on your wrist.
It could be, yeah.
I suppose if it's Bluetooth, you could run it.
At the point where it's Bluetooth, you can have it anywhere you like.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mike.
That's fine.
Thanks, resident tech expert.
Well, there we go.
I always need hands free.
But yeah, the other sort of thing I found with MilSim is that you build up this idea of comms being really, really useful, or you can communicate now perfectly. But even at MilSims, I still find that I just find myself communicating. If I'm being sneaky, I know where my partner is, and I can just do hand movements, or we're just whispering loudly. I have these cool ideas that it's going to be like some Mission Impossible scene, but it never comes back that way.
Clench your arse. Sorry, just reading some of the comments of where the Bluetooth PTT could be put. Anthony's put clench your arse cheeks to talk.
Depends on the shape.
Let's get some squats in. Lance, for first-hand use, don't use them as they take 2 to 3 seconds before transmit, so you end up cutting people up on the radio. Okay, mate. So that's John talking about the Bluetooth earpiece for the bow fans. Yeah.
Piss to talk.
All right.
Piss to talk.
Piss to talk.
just squeeze the tip. Just the tip. Just have to do some sort of Michael Jackson dance move to talk. Just the crutch grab.
Another question I had was to do with your actual taskings as well. Have you ever been in a position where you felt hindered by the role that you kind of turned up to the event for, in that you can't undertake a certain tasking? I mean, for example, with the Red Tide one, we were sort of a DEA. I mean, you were, I think, like task force for that specific event. But were there any taskings where it's like, you know, right, you need to go and clear a room or a building or something like that? And you're like, well, you know, you've got your great long rifle, you're sort of giddied up. It's not really.
Yeah,
that sort of role.
Longmore definitely. I've had that because, yeah, obviously it's urban environment. I know it's good for sniping as well, but often they come into your building without, because you're looking at one window. It's very easy to like get around at Longmore, and you don't realise someone's actually sneaked up on your building, and then that you realise they're inside, and yeah, that's often a problem. I mean, in terms of taskings, like they tell you to go and take over you wouldn't ever be sent on that thing. So no, I haven't really had a tasking which I thought was silly because I had a rifle. That was no.
Have you, with your MilSim, Ed, have you always been to
Ghillie?
There's a name there.
Sorry, I couldn't help it.
I found my name. So with that, Ed, I mean, obviously, events that you've attended, have you always been a sniper or a pair, and that's been it, or have you been to like events where you've been in like a team of like say like sort of like 6 to 10 guys, and you've been the sniper in that team? Have you ever done anything like that?
That's what I try and go for is teaming up with other things, just because you normally get a bit more action like that because they're sent on the taskings that are a bit more action orientated. I do try to stay away from like a constant reconnaissance role, and the events that I've been to be honest, that have put me in that role, I've sort of nodded politely at the start of the day when they're like all excited about the event, and then I've sort of approached them at lunchtime, and not lunchtime, it's not a skirmish. I've approached them midway through the day and said, look mate, is there any chance I could team up with that squad over there, because I'm mates with some of them, and yeah, they're fine with that. To be honest, you're only normally like 2 or 3 guys there in Ghillies, and they're quite easy going with you because you're not going to have a massive impact on the storyline or the event, so they just squeeze you in with something else, and they're a bit flexible. Yeah.
No, fair play. That's cool.
So do you find it...
Sorry.
Do you find it more... So when you go to an event and you haven't told the organisers beforehand that you're going to be running a ghillie and a long rifle, for example, do you find that when you turn up at the event, there's a lot more fuss about what to do with you if they haven't written anything in? Do you find, or have you found that it's quite easygoing? You slip into the role quite easily.
Well, recently I've been turning up to events to try it. Like, I use a different email now because I just don't want anyone knowing that I'm turning up. This is obviously
the aggro, man, of the aggro.
Oh,
yeah, but it's not even that.
So many autographs.
No, it's not that. Like, I did go to that, not the Defiant one, but the what was it? The one at Longmore, and I think you guys, I can't remember if you were there, but anyway, so I turned up to that. The first 45 minutes, it was just catcalling Silly Ghillie for not that it wasn't nasty or anything. I just wanted to just, like, I've been playing for quite a long time before I did all that, so I just wanted to go to an event and not have any of that. So from now I book onto events with like different emails and stuff, so I do turn up to events and they just have to put me there on the spot onto a tasking, and most of the time they don't even know who I am anyway, so it's not even a problem. Yeah.
Fair play.
Do you find that, because obviously you've got a bit of a reputation and the like, no, you do, in all fairness, you know, you're probably one of 2 or 3 airsoft snipers that personally I could name that are relatively well known. I'm not going to call you famous, but well known on the internet. It's very famous.
We've got famous
you
people on
find
the
that-
show now.
Yeah, I know, it's amazing.
I've already been on the show. It's not even a big deal.
Yeah, but now
do
you're double
you
famous.
find that? Do you find that there's almost like an expectation of you when you book onto a MilSim or something like that? Like, for example, people go, "Oh yeah, you know what? I've got a super special tasking for you. I need you to get, you know,
No,
like
'cause that's when people
within
really
50
start to-
centimeters of this person on the
Yeah.
site, and like, you know, not just take them out with a sniper rifle. I need you to whisper like something in their ear before you kill them, type thing."
He did that to me. He did that to me.
No, because that's the,
told me
that's
he
the
loved
thing.
me.
So if
Genuine
that
story.
happens, then there's sort of preconceived ideas, and I just don't want that to happen. So that's why, yeah, I don't want to be. That's fine. I don't want to. I just want to be treated like everyone else, you know. No, but I do. They don't even do. They don't even do special taskings. I don't think they would do special taskings anyway. But just the thought of given a special role because someone is turning up. It's just that's when shivers go down my back. Yeah.
Would you like a little Ed zone for Ed?
Anyway,
We'll go.
Move on.
The next event
Move
we'll
on.
go is your security guards.
Yeah,
Ed.
I'm gonna put my sniper. I'm gonna put my hide cover over him, and we'll just walk him in,
Yeah.
place him in his zone.
Nothing to see here.
There'll literally
No
be
pictures,
this bush.
No
There'll
pictures.
be this
please.
bush just sitting there, and there'll be the three of us in black suits and glasses. Just standing around them like,
yeah.
Where's Ed? He's not here. That's not Ed.
No, it's not Ed.
That's his favourite.
literally
That's
a
his
bush.
favourite conifer. He brings it everywhere with him.
No, I can understand where you're coming from, though. I
Yeah,
mean,
mates.
you know, we don't know directly what that's like, but I can
I do.
imagine what it's like. Oh, do you? Oh,
Mark
right.
around it. Yeah.
Anthony says, "How do you find filming at MilSims?"
To be honest, I don't really go to MilSims expecting to make a video, just because it doesn't lend itself to the whole YouTube thing. I more go literally just to enjoy the social side, as I said before, and yeah, that side. Having said that, some of the best footage I got was from an SEO event, not the it was at Dog Tag, but not the Defiant one. It was the SEO one.
That was a good event as well. Yeah.
Yeah, but that just a few moments in that just caught on camera just looked amazing. Just because everyone looks the part so well at these MilSims, like they're all dressed, you know, some would say not spot on probably, but to the average viewer at home, it looks like they're in the real army. But, yeah. But yeah, I want to try to do videos from events. I think Defiant ones would be quite difficult because it's.
I don't think we can at Defiant ones, mate, because I think it's due to certain people's job roles and that they can't be caught on film and things. So I think
I think
tread carefully with that one.
Yeah.
Well, just on that note, I mean, I know that there was.
Plus, I'll be at most of them, and I don't know how my pictures have been taken. I think.
Yeah.
I think the general ethos is that obviously they don't want people just taking a load of footage and sort of photos, going away from the event, and then just doing with it as they will. I think there's possibly you're able to do that, but it might just be that they have to vet certain clips or something like that, just to make sure that sort of certain people aren't in there, or stuff like that. So I don't think it's a blanket no, but I think it's probably a blanket grey area along the lines of, you know, they just want to make sure that people are protected, basically. Sorry,
100%.
I've just asked for some more water, and my daughter's just turned up at the door.
Should have got another
carry on.
snow
You've got
globe around, has she?
got a trained already.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know there are certain events where they just don't allow filming because it's an MOD site, so that's just blanket ban. I think they're meant to have that at Longmoor, but definitely it's a grey area because, like, you type into YouTube Longmoor and you see loads of videos. So, yeah, but yeah,
It makes me laugh quite a bit when they say you can't film at MOD sites, but then if you go and look on YouTube and look Forces News, there's videos of them at like all the Fibua villages with like tanks and all their latest weaponry firing and stuff. You can watch like a 5-minute video on them actually using their actual kit, but you can't film with your stuff there. No, because of secrets. Don't share any secrets. But then,
Yeah, but there's a whole team, Lance, that have been sitting there looking at all that footage.
Lance, it's because they just hate airsofters.
yeah, exactly.
YouTubers.
Yeah,
That's why.
and then like 2 minutes later, there'll be a video release. This is our brand new tank. Look how fucking cool it is.
This is the top secret GPS system that has only just been installed.
Oh, hilarious, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh dear. Oh yeah, Defiant have said that it'll be a big no for filming. So.
And this is in James's private quarters, of course.
Oh no, he allows
He
that
says-
filming.
Yeah,
He said it's a blanket.
he encourages that.
No
Yeah.
offense, but no
Depending
YouTubers.
where you are.
No offense, but no YouTubers.
Does that mean no YouTubers filming or just no YouTubers?
I think filming.
Okay.
Hopefully filming.
I was going to say.
I
no
mean, to be
YouTubers.
fair-
I think we would class as YouTubers now, do we not?
Are we YouTube?
Are
No,
we
we're not
YouTube-
YouTubers.
When do you class yourself as
I
a
think we're tube
YouTuber?
hubers.
Yeah.
We're just used.
We're just
Used.
We're just tubes.
We're tubes. I'm a tube.
No, I mean, I think to be fair, I know that there's obviously a lot of controversy around sniping as a whole. I don't want to start getting into that, but I know that there's obviously that element of controversy. I know that there's this whole issue with YouTube clips and stuff like that, which can ultimately lead to conflict and controversy around events. and
Sean Connor is back again, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello,
It's when he gets
he's
nervous.
from Wales.
Talking
yes,
about
controversy.
controversy.
Welsh Connor, yeah.
Gosh.
There's obviously, there's issues and bits and pieces around like that. If
Give
an
him a
event
good
organizer
slap.
chooses,
Smack him in the face, Miss Money Bunny.
if an event company, I mean, James has just said Sterling film loads of their events. The films are on YouTube. Ultimately, that's the event company's choice. Defiant obviously do
Fine.
clips and pictures and stuff.
Personal call.
Yeah.
That's my lawyer just talking about.
Don't say the words.
Do not speak the words.
Don't say the words.
No, I was about to say that would be Sean, but it wouldn't be Sean because Sean's certainly boss away. But it's not Sean.
I mean, I'm not going to go into it just like you, Mike. But on the subject of controversy, one of the things I have enjoyed about attending MilSims is there generally isn't that much aggro anyway. So even if you do go out there filming, it's very unlikely that you would. And not to sound like I'm virtue signaling, but I don't obviously post any controversy on my channel anyway. So if Defiant is listening, if I was to come, I don't think you would have to worry. You can speak to other event organisers and yeah.
No YouTubers filming, Ed.
You
Just
just
drop
put
it.
out the comment again.
No, different comment. This is just coming.
Be told.
It's no YouTubers filming, mate. It's because we don't want people using our hard worked events for content.
Yeah, I get that. I definitely.
Boo hoo.
Yeah, I it's a
Apart
shame.
from if you do get any footage of James shuffling to a Portaloo, though, you're more than welcome to use that because that's just a fucking really funny thing to witness.
Is that James on that YouTube account that's typing there?
More than likely.
I actually got. He loves it because I actually got some content of him, and we were talking about it on Instagram after the event. This wasn't a Defiant event. This was way back at Longmoor, one of their just MilSim events. But yeah, we had a little engagement. He was up in a window, and obviously I had it all on camera. So he wanted.
Did he have his massive handlebar moustache going on?
No, it was quite funny because I think he was in a room with all the kit. So there was a lot of things that he could step on, and part of the video looks a bit like he's sort of stumbling over something. He told me that. But yeah, that's what I think. Film.
I'm not listening.
Yeah.
I'm not listening.
That's what.
Is Archibald all right?
I don't know. They're going to be going in a timeout as well. Sorry, Archibald.
It's very bizarre. I'm not sure if he's
Wielding the ban hammer tonight.
Yeah.
We have to get a hammer sound effect.
You didn't
all
even
the
give him a chance.
controversy.
It's only his one.
No, he's been doing it a bit.
What's
I
he
don't know
done
what
so far?
I don't know. It's subliminal messages. I think he's an alien. We'll have to get that
Sorry,
confirmed with
Ed,
Alien
carry on.
Airsoft when they're on. Sorry, Ed.
These two get very easily distracted about little things that just pop up.
No, that's fine. I'm reading the comment. No YouTubers filming it. It's because we don't. Oh yeah, hold on again.
There was a question I wanted to, which was by Sear Volpian? Have I said that right? Oh, yes, well done, Mike. Great minds.
Are you
guys going to NAF this year? And if so, are you looking forward to it? We are going, and yes, we are looking forward to it.
I'm
Next
not
question.
going.
You're not
You're
going
not
this
going.
year.
You're not going this
You're
year.
not
Oh
going
no,
this year.
Ed's not going this year. No,
Ed's not going.
Edwina will be there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Silly Gillette.
Silly Ghillie.
Silly Ghillie.
Because you're
Oh my God,
Silly in French.
Ed, you need to release that as a branding merch. Silly Gillette.
Yeah.
I'd definitely have a Silly Gillette.
That could be
It's
like
just
a
a
new
Gillette
men's
with like little leaves
aftershave.
hanging off of it. It'll be amazing.
Oda Silly. That's perfume range as well. Yeah, we are going to NAF. I'm going dressed as Robin Hood. Mike's going dressed as Friar Tuck. And Andy is going dressed as the bird woman from Home Alone 2.
When did this get decided?
You decided it.
We decided it, or I'm not going. And you said, all right then.
But you've booked on now, so haha.
Well, I'll just get a refund. Plenty of time. You promised. I want to see you with bird
I
lady
think
outfit.
more importantly, can I just clarify? Andy has said that he's going to go dressed as a fox.
A foxy
Oh,
lady.
Shit, yeah, I did say that, didn't I?
Yeah, you did say that because I made a note of it in my book. So
You sounded like the young kiddie from Bedknobs and Broomsticks. It says so here in my book.
I'll say in my book. Right, a couple of things that have come
Crap.
in.
I forgot about that.
Defiant have said there's no Red Tide 4. I don't think. I think we're done with the series. But if people want to kick up a fuss and demand it, we will listen. So
Nope.
I want to use this
No,
opportunity
more
now
I'd
to
rather ditch it in more
promote
Machiavellian
my-
events.
Yeah, I want to promote my
That's my personal
campaign
opinion.
for Blue Wave 1. I want Blue Wave 1 to come in, please. If we can't have a Red Tide 4, I want Blue Wave 1. It was a little joke. I came up with it a while ago. It made me chuckle. So
Oh, I've
screw
got.
you all.
I can be blue t-shirt guy. Look, I've even
Blue
pre-dressed
t-shirt
for
guy.
it.
Blue T-shirt guy is actually
Exactly.
a meme.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
it terrible? Is it horrendous?
Oh, I won't even explain it. It's embarrassing that I know the context of Blue T-shirt. Yeah.
Oh. Open another beer, Ed.
T Rain says, do any of you follow Virage Airsoft? I do. Also, have any of you played at Baguette's events in Sweden? Looks good. I have not. I don't know about
I
you guys.
think Mark has Mike from Machiavellian. I think he does. I think that's the big one. They do one a year, I think, or two a year. And I think it's coming up very, very soon, unless it's already happened. I'm sure, because he showed me some pictures when we was at OpMac of that event in Sweden. I'm sure it was that one. That does look very cool. And it's a monstrous, huge forest of where they play.
Is that
I
the
mean,
castle? Is it the city?
No, the castle's in. No,
No,
that's
no,
in
no,
Belgium,
that's-
I think,
Yeah,
or somewhere.
I thought it was in Belgium.
Somewhere.
Maybe
in
we're
Europe.
getting mixed up.
It's in European somewhere. But yeah, that event that T Rains is talking about, I believe that's the one that Mark's been to. So that would be cool. Yes,
Yeah,
I would
Virage
love
Airsoft.
to.
If anyone's interested, is a good YouTuber as well. Recommend them.
Nice.
Defiant says there are still some places left on Op Machiavellian Bravo. Ed, gathering photo images and doing clandestine work, meeting civs will be part of it. So there you go.
Is the sorry, I know you said, but is the Machiavellian one the one that was previous to this one that's just gone that you said was good, Lance?
Yes,
where you
mate.
did-
Yes.
Absolutely. The one
Yeah.
that'd be right up your street. Yes, absolutely.
The one that I turned up 5 minutes towards the end.
Yeah.
Yes.
I remember you
Andy
telling
really
me
enjoyed.
And
I
I'm
loved
stuck
it.
in a pipe.
I remember you did tell me that story where you were outside their base, like 30 meters away, the whole of for a lot of the event, and they just didn't know you were there, and you were just
That's pretty much it, mate. Yeah, that was the one.
yeah.
Yeah, their little hide was awesome.
It was cool.
That was wicked.
I missed our little hide.
It's
I may go and
I
make
do as
another
well.
one in the
Does it-
woods. Just go
I
sit in it.
genuinely, it's not so much, I don't want to claim it's PTSD in any way, but there's genuinely little moments I'm like, when I'm at work and I feel a bit rubbish and I'm like, oh, I just don't really want to be here. It's like, I was actually really enjoying laying in a bush next to 3 sweaty guys, not knowing at the time that Lance had taken a piss right next to my head, which was less fun after I found that out. But it was,
I
that
thought
was
I
a
was
cracking
rather
event,
considerate
absolutely
myself. I
cracking.
could have woke you up and made you watch me. But I left you to sleep.
I'm surprised you didn't, because that's exactly the sort of thing you would normally do.
Hey, Mike, look at this.
Terry.
Look.
Terry says, Lance, that tent that Terry Little SEO had as a command post with printers or a white screen to give a complete orders group for the final assault on Sunday.
Yes, mate, very good. Yeah, they're like little, almost like a pop-up, like miniature aircraft hangar type thing. Is it like an Anderson shelter sort of shape? Really cool looking tent. Yeah, for like a briefing room. Yeah. Kudos to Terry for bringing them bits along. Yeah, good on him.
Terry says, Lance, apparently it's all to you, Lance. At the last Apocalypse MilSim, Ed was with me. I just said, go and do what you do. So, there you go.
I'm trying to remember
Last
Terry's
Christ,
face.
that's going back a few years now.
He's the one standing just next to Sharp in his little picture there.
Yeah. He's next to, he was actually there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sharp was based on Terry's life.
Terry invented the Mad Minute, which is firing, was it 3 rounds or something, or 5 rounds from a flintlock rifle? Or something.
3 rounds a second.
3 rounds. Terry is the Mad Minute.
I'm going to call it Spook. I apologise. Spook of Albert. Scene Kicking run the Code Red PTT speaker mic only with volume turned down low to not give him away. I mean, the Code Reds are obviously the Code Red do the bone conduction and bone induction headsets as well.
Yeah,
because I know I was looking at those because.
Yeah,
Was there it sounds from what Spook of Alba have said there. It must be a Code Red range, I suppose. They've got a speaker mic. So.
Code Red's like the brand.
Right, okay.
And they do like a variety. They're quite into doing modular systems, so it's almost like you get that bit and you can plug that into this PTT and then you connect that bit to that bit, and it's so you can sort of build up. You can sort of build up your really like
love this, love all that. Mike. Keep doing that. Yeah.
Should have had music to that.
I'm not sure what that was to start with. Yeah, you just click. Miniguns.
Oh right.
Oh yeah, so, wow.
So these bits, obviously.
Oh, okay.
And they do work, but yeah, you can't wear a balaclava with them or anything touching them because they have to be sitting on that bone. But they're definitely interesting because you can hear perfectly with your normal. I know you can get hearing enhancers, but they're quite expensive. Those ones, if you just want to have like normal hearing, they're really good.
You'd be able to run a snood underneath it, wouldn't you? Can you have stuff on top of it, or does that muck it up?
Well, it's just the combination of everything. So you've got everything going over this bit of the ear that was the issue, but that now has been solved for me.
Yeah, because you were saying that you got rid of your lower face.
Yeah, because the lower face goes up like that.
Oh, you have it going up there.
Yeah, I find if it's down here, it just falls.
Drawing moustaches on now.
Yeah.
Ed's like, yeah,
I'm not going to do that because there's too many opportunities for a meme, and I don't want to. I don't want to take. I'm not playing.
This is when he starts getting out a biro and like drawing.
Yeah, goes, you can just show us with a Sharpie.
Ed, on the Code Red headset, do you find it's affected by sweat at all? Because I know when I was looking at getting them, they said that if you are a particularly sweaty person, which I am, the connectivity between the headset and
can't say that live, mate.
the connectivity between I'm going to continue.
I literally
connectivity between the headset and like the bone that it needs to connect to can sometimes be a little bit broken, basically by the amount of moisture.
By mic juice.
Mic juice, special juice.
I said it in a Scottish accent, by the way, so I don't think they would have. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, it does. It slips down. That's the problem because it's meant you feel your jawbone here. That's where it sits. And obviously, if you're really sweaty, I find that if you also have if you're lucky enough to have facial hair, it gives it a bit of something to grip it up. Sorry, Mike, but yeah. So yeah, they do. Yeah, end of story. They need to be sitting on that bone. Yeah, the other way that snipers do it is to have no headset at all and just have the volume turned down really low, and that works quite well. And yeah, obviously the worry is that it's going to give your position away, but to be honest, most of the time they're like across a field, so no.
Cool.
Yeah, to be honest, most of the time, when I play a skirmish now, I don't even bother wearing a headset sometimes, and just have it on volume because no one's listening. Like,
Oh,
right.
I've
No,
got
no,
my
I mean,
radio today, guys.
Yeah.
You all bought yours, right? You all
It's not
bought your
even plugged
radio.
into a radio. It's just the fist mic. It's just this cable just trailing behind him as he's running around. Guys, where are you? Just I've got friends.
Hello.
Leave me alone.
Walking back, I'm going, yeah.
Hey, you guys!
Just with my friends on the police force, the actual police force.
Yeah. I got the. I'm talking
Don't you
to the
shoot
man
at
on
me,
the
otherwise I'm
balcony.
going to call reinforcements.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm talking
They're
to
on
the
their
man
way.
on the
They're on their way right now.
They're coming.
What?
They're coming right now.
In a tank. In a tank.
What did you say? Yeah, I'll tell him. I'll tell him.
My mates are all force multipliers, don't you know?
Yeah. And they've got dogs. They
they've
just said he's got his dog. Big one. Big scary one.
Yeah. Big Danny said.
Ryan James says, blue t-shirt guys, right? Is that movie that he's in? And he's the NPC for the computer game. I love that film. That is such a good film.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is it.
Blue t-shirt guy. Have you seen that? Used to?
No, I haven't seen it.
Oh mate, you've got to watch. You've got to watch it. It's pucker. It's really good. Give it a watch. Yes. Nice one, Ron. Good man. And Ryan Reynolds.
Defiant says, Op Merlin at Camp Sparta, there was this guy clearing a building in a ghillie suit and a pistol. He just stood in the corner of the room, and so he became known as the potted plant.
I heard this story. I don't think I was. It can't have been me, but. Well,
Free guy. That's the one. Yep. Good man, Aaron. Ed, could you not get like a plastic plant pot, right, and cleave it in two, and then clamp it to the outer side of your boots, and then literally just put your feet together and stand still?
I mean, it would fit right in at places like Longmoor, which are just full of potted plants in all of the rooms.
Yeah. Well, you can get one. You can get one that's slightly aged, so it's been outside. Clever dick.
Use the other half to make a decoy to put in the other corner of the room. So they come in and start shooting the decoy one, and then you're on the other potted plant.
I think it works. It works once, and then they go back to respawn, and they're like, right. Potted plant is not a potted.
Yeah, but then next time you can wear like a big. You can wear a big vase.
Yeah, you could have to, or you could carry a spray, like a spray can of brown paint, and be like, "No, it's autumn now. It's different me."
Leaves are falling from the tree.
He just turns up to an event with a van full of different potted plants and just puts them around the side.
Literally just from knot cuts or like.
Well, you could do. I mean, there's options. I mean, you could do the plant pots on the boots. You could put a bit of trellis behind you and just stand against the wall. Like a climbing ivy.
I'm just looking at I'm just thinking of like event organisers now watching this and being like, what is going to happen next?
If he gets a broom, if he gets a broom on like a little, if he
But-
gets a broom on a block of concrete, he could curl up in a ball at the top of it and leave one of those little topiary kind of plants. So it's like
The best one
like
I've
those little
ever
lollipop
seen.
trees.
Yeah, like a little olive tree just outside. Yeah, end of the driveway.
The best urban ghillie suit I've ever seen are those. You know the
Bricamouflage.
brick. You've already had that, but no, air vents. They're like these huge tubes.
Yes.
and they
Oh,
fold
yes.
up, but they fold up.
Yeah.
They fold up into something that literally you can put in your pockets, and you just you put it above your head, and it comes down the whole of your body, and then you just lean against a wall, and actually it looks so realistic.
Perfect.
Yeah, but then you've done that, but then how you then gonna draw your pistol? But
You need a secondary
cut a little
one
hole
coming
in
out.
you're there for recon.
You'd have to have two secondary vents coming out for your arms to go through, but then you'd end up looking like one of the big dudes at the car sales forecourt, just in the wind. Just like when you can't get it off, you're just running through the middle of Longmoor.
Yeah.
Like, help me!
Do you remember the advert for that? The advert. It got turned into It was like an advertisement for those things. They're like
For those big dudes.
the flappy arm. I can't remember. Yeah.
They always make me chuckle. If I drive past, there's a garage that means business when they've got one of them big dudes with flappy arms, just going absolutely batshit crazy out the front.
My kebab shop down the road has one that's got an arm that just does that.
I always find it always encouraging when you go into like a Chinese takeaway and there's a cat there just constantly waving at you off on the wall.
Yeah.
Just does this.
If it
That's
doesn't
all
have
does.
one, I don't buy the Chinese from them. Where's
I'm
your
not
cat?
eating here. Where's your cat? Where's your wavy cat? Come on.
Yeah, they're like, it's not even authentic. It's just we've got to put it up with the stupid English. Oh dear.
There we go.
Spook of Alba says Silly Ghillie becomes the stationary succulent in terms of the plant pot. So yeah, I like it.
Sounds like an OnlyFans to me.
That sounds like, I was going to say, that sounds like an OnlyFans account, that one. Stationary succulent.
Oh. Right, we've got time for a couple more questions. If anybody wants to get those in, if in the meantime, if you want to get in touch with the show, you can do so on our email at nofochat@hotmail.com. Our Instagram is at November_Foxtrot_NoFo, and our website is novemberfoxtrot.co.uk. There are still 2 accounts on Twitter. We are currently undergoing a reporting battle with our nemesis. So
It's slightly Scottish
if
then,
you
Mike.
want to,
You did go like...
There are still 2 accounts on Twitter.
oh, okay.
You did. Listen back later on.
I'm really
You know
good
all
with
that.
accents, so it's completely accidental.
Yes,
but if
fine.
you do want to contact us on
Accentental.
Twitter, it is at accidental. It is at NoFoChat on Twitter as well.
But no
Next
one will
week we're going to be
probably
doing
reply.
a Q&A. I am on holiday next week. The show is completely down to these two. So
Hey! You watch. We've
yeah.
got to get all the followers. We've got to get all the people listening.
we will see how that goes.
It's nothing to do with me.
No, Andy,
you'll be there.
Andy is running the show.
I'll be
from a
there.
production
You're running
point.
in it. Nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
If it goes wrong, it's fucking
You've
on
got to
your
post
end.
me the farty noisy box.
I'm not
I'll-
posting you my equipment that I use.
I'll just keep farting.
I'm not
whole
posting
of
you
it.
my equipment. Oh,
Yeah,
Um,
that one.
there it is.
So we'll be doing a Q&A. So if you want to have any questions read out or points discussed, then please send them in. You can do so on the socials which we just discussed, or you can contact us individually on our Instagrams below. Ed, are you happy for people to contact you if they'd like to talk to you about
Course
ghillies
he
and
is.
sniping?
You've got to go through the secretary first.
Yes, if you'd like to, I'll check my Rolodex and get back to you properly.
Oh, you leave him alone. We're just all jealous.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
We've got a question coming from Kenny Rebel. Most funny shot ever taken, Mr. Silly Ghillie?
Oh yeah,
gotta
this
be
was
a
actually quite recent. I hit someone in an HPA tank that was on their back, and it didn't
And then
hurt.
exploded and they died.
No, it just made a really loud ping, and the ping scared them so much they fell over, and that was just. Quite
Please
funny.
tell me you got that on video.
Yeah, everything's on video, mate.
Everything's on video.
Yeah.
And I mean everything.
Everything.
As soon as he wakes up in the morning, turns the alarm off, GoPro goes on. Morning,
just-
family!
You're implying he turns it off at night. He clearly leaves that on all the time.
I'd love to see a video of Ed's day. Just a silly
Ed's day.
Ghillie's
A day in the life of
as
Ed.
Yeah.
Can you get it narrated by Morgan Freeman?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Or Mike
Oh,
doing
so
his shit
you're
Sean
very
Connery
good.
voice.
Or I'll do a shit Sean Connery voice. Ed goes down to have some breakfast.
I didn't know
You
Sean
did say
Connery
it
was
was
from
shit.
Northern Ireland.
Shut up.
What's the Irish?
Ed goes down to have some breakfast, so he does. Oh, does he now, Sean? Oh, and
Little
when did
bubble
you
on the end of
emigrate
your
from
mouth.
Scotland to Northern Ireland? I didn't know that.
Mike can't do accents. Spook of Albert. This one's for Ed. How's the build going for your new workspace? I need an AGM supply drop soon.
That was actually, we finished it today. Well, we've been doing production and building at the same time because we've realised that our building isn't quite as. I mean, I'll be honest. It's a shed with an outdoor bit with a windshield.
It's a lovely shed. I've seen pictures of it. It's beautiful.
Yeah, but yeah, because I used to work in Empire. I used to have a room at Empire. We recently moved out, so I've had to do it in the back garden. And yeah, so we had to build a shed and a windshield because the fabric is blowing everywhere in the wind. So it's it looks very much like a refugee camp right now. But yeah, it's all done. We've got, if he is actually in need of AGM, we are about to resupply Empire with that. So
Woo!
that's good.
Nice. I believe the scientific name is a
Spook of
summer
Albert
house.
says-
Summer
It's not
has.
a shed.
I haven't.
Ed.
I-
Ed's shed. You should start a little show.
Yeah, I haven't actually shared any content on it because I'm just so embarrassed by the.
Tales from Ed's shed.
But yeah,
Give me a
Brilliant.
shout. I'll pop round with some tools and stuff. And we can
Paints
make
and
it.
things.
We could do a
we can make it
DIY
pretty.
SOS for you, Ed.
We get
you're
1
in the
hour. The three,
southeast-
Ed, can the three of us? We get 1 hour to decorate your shed.
what with?
We'd smash it out.
Anything.
Or it'll be, we
And
each get a
everything.
strip. We get
White
1/3 of it
paint.
each.
We
so
get
it'll
one
be three
piece. Yeah.
Very
You
different.
decide who's the best.
Yeah,
And then
One of us goes
what you do-
camouflage. One of us goes
No.
the confusing ray pattern or whatever that they used to use on World War II battleships, and then the other one just goes full on just bush.
Bush. Bush.
I think he'll be a little bit annoyed though with the bus moving out the way of his shed though across his back garden. Here you are, Ed, and the bus just churns up his back garden.
you would. It would have to have the NoFo fox on the door. That would
Obviously.
be an important
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
That
Of course
would
we'll
be.
get that in there.
Well, that'd be shoehorned in. Don't worry.
And Mike's,
One thing
Mike's
that came up. From,
Instagram
Oh.
everywhere on it. But yeah, sorry. Call me.
One thing that came up from someone on Instagram, Adventures of Zulu. I know you have Silly Ghillie on this week, but would you consider doing an outside episode, maybe a recorded one in the woods, where he can break down a couple of different ghillie setups? So that might be something that we put together with you. Maybe we go out there.
I mean, I
in
wouldn't
the
want it
woods
to
and do
just be about ghillie sniping because I think people would. Well, you guys are on it, so obviously you don't. Yeah, do every aspect of the kit. I did do actually with Lance a loadout video recently, and in return, I'm going to be doing a loadout video for him on his channel. So I'll be filming him hopefully. So sorry if that didn't spoil anything there.
Does he know you're going to be filming him, Ed?
No.
Yeah.
I was
I'm
very
actually
nervous
filming
when I
you.
was
I'm
asked
actually
to come and
filming you
film
right
Ed.
now.
It'll be the day in the life of Lance. You'll wake up and Ed's just there with a camera.
Yeah. Morning, Ed.
But Ed, you've done a couple of videos like that
Toast
before, though, haven't you?
toast for me, buddy.
Like how to build. Like
Yeah,
how
I
to
did
build
I did a
parts of your
video.
kit.
Yeah, I did a video on. I wouldn't say it's like. I would say it's how I do it, but yeah, there's lots of ways to make a ghillie. This was obviously based around the product that we sell. And yeah, I've done videos outside of gameplay. I did a video on optics for Airsoft, so like what you might want to get, and then my most recent one obviously is the loadout video with Lance in it. And yeah, I enjoy those ones more because I feel like I'm giving a lot more. Sort of
Ed let me hold his gimbal.
actual
was nice.
information.
Ooh.
I
Yeah,
enjoyed that immensely.
yeah.
That was going through my mind, I'll tell you.
It was very stable all day.
It was very stable.
There were no
Yeah, very much so. Ooh.
there was no ups and downs, just panning around.
The sound effects keep coming, Ed. They just keep coming, mate.
We definitely need to get out in the woods at some point, and maybe we can have like a little ghillie off between the
ghillie
four of
off.
us.
Taking
Yeah,
them
we'll
off,
have a ghillie off.
or who's got the best ghillie?
No. We'll see who can make the best ghillie in like the
Who
space
can take
of, like, a
theirs off the
morning or
quickest? Let's go!
That would be Mike. Mike was
That would be
naked
Mike,
in a
yeah.
second. I tell
Just
you.
covered in sugar
That was
underneath.
so quick.
Lick me!
On that note, Ed, thank you ever so much for joining us this week. It's been an
thank you
absolute
very
pleasure
much.
to have you on.
Thanks for coming, Ed. Thanks for bearing with us for the first 40 minutes as well.
Yeah.
To be honest, I think you've gone over your usual.
Yeah,
time.
we're getting on for a Christmas special here now.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what we
Yeah,
do.
What?
we just switched.
We'll just
between-
re-release this one.
Yeah, we just do it again and again.
Merry Christmas, everybody, and a Happy New Year for
I mean,
2024.
They were, you don't need to timestamp it. If you cut out the stuff at the start, you could just You wouldn't have to timestamp
Yeah,
it.
we're just going to
Yeah.
pre-record it and just really.
Do a little at the beginning, we'll just put November Foxtrot would like to wish you all a Merry Christmas, and then just play this again.
Yeah.
I believe it's Andy's turn for the closing sentiments, closing words.
Oh, it's not funny when your mate gets naked in front of you.
It's not funny. Serious.
And on that note, we'll see you next week. Have a good one.
See you next week.
See you later.
Stay
Say
NoFo.
NoFo.
El Casa, Mukasa, and all that. What do you normally say? Ciao, Bella.
Ciao, Bella.
Lovely bit of squirrel, Jackie.